My name is Mark. This is Zen Talk. We are talking about the three poisons. So in Buddhism, kleshas are mental states that cloud the mind and manifest in unwholesome actions. The five kleshas are known as ignorance, attachment, aversion, pride, and envy. The root causes of the kleshas are greed, hatred, and delusion. Often in Buddhist temples and in various books and other cosmologies, we will see this represented of this image over here, where we have greed is known as the bird, hatred as the serpent or snake, and delusion as the pig or the boar. And it's often will show them kind of eating each other, and they're connected. Greed in Buddhism is known as raga. As a philosophical concept, the term refers to sensuality, desire, attachment to a sensory object. Hatred in Buddhism is known as dvejja, and it is the opposite of raga, greed, which was lust or desire, along with raga and moha being delusion. Dvejja is one of the three characteristics, afflictions that cause suffering. Lastly, moha, which is delusion, along with greed and hate, are unskillful roots that lead to cravings. In Buddhism, in Buddhist thought, which is part of the 12 nidanas that propel the wheel of life. Kleshas in Buddhism come from a pre-Buddhist Arianism of the Vedic period. This is going back about 3,000 years. The three poisons later derived from the kleshas are shown in the center of the wheel of life. The wheel is often publicly displayed as a tool to teach the laity the source of suffering and the many realms of rebirth, reincarnation that come from liberation of the kleshas. So in this picture here of the wheel of life, we'll always see the three poisons at the very center, which is delusion, greed, hate, and anger. And then manifesting and surrounding these is the 6 Buddha realms. And then outside of that is the further 12 realms. And Zen does not really get into deep on these, but it does believe in them. He will definitely run into these in Zen teachings. Other traditions specifically aim to go to one of these realms, preferably a good realm, a better realm. However, Zen takes it one step further and says that we can leave this realm. This brings us to duality, which is a big question in Buddhism. To simply put, dualism is the theology that everything arises in pairs, like man, woman, light, dark, physical, mental, and so on. Buddhism defines suffering as when those dualistic pairs start rubbing against each other, creating the heat of suffering that we feel. And that is when the dualisms of man, woman rub against each other, light and dark, physical and mental. And the dualisms are endless. Just like in this yin-yang here, you have the positive and the negative. But yet they are interdependent. And that's why we have this little white circle within the black and a little black circle within the white to show the interdependence, that they rise together and they exist together. They cannot rise separately or independent. The non-dualistic approach of Buddhism is to eliminate the factors that create the friction, the three poisons. Emptiness, as phenomena arises in its dualistic state, interdependent of each other, as with the yin-yang symbol I just showed you. The manifold phenomena is empty of self-identity, a distinction that it is different than its dualistic counterpart. It is our mind, afflicted with the three poisons, that bring distinctions to duality of the manifold phenomena, and we suffer in the heat of the friction of the duality. The Zeno here is often a representation of emptiness. The way out of suffering. Zen teaches that when we cease the thoughts that agitate the duality nature of phenomena, we cease creating suffering. This is the no thought of Zazen, the moment when the truth of phenomena is known, that there is no duality inherently in all things, that it comes by our own mind through our own attachments, being the three poisons, greed, hate, and delusions, and that for that 10th of a second of no thought, we are out of it. This is the Zen Enlightenment. This is where one knows the truth and knows the way out of suffering. This is where the real Zen practice starts, the ceasing of suffering and the purification of the soul that leads to the bliss of liberated immortality. Many Zen masters, ancient and current, talk a great deal about just this one sentence, this one paragraph right here. I know that everything I have said may be difficult to understand, and I encourage you to watch the video again, download the slides, and study them. Many Zen teachers spend a lot of time talking about duality, emptiness, and the way out. And they use a lot of various means and methods to try to talk about this. What I have told you, though, is the most simplest and direct explanation of these things. And it is up to you to ponder these, to meditate on them, and to see for yourself if it is so. Zen is a path of liberation. It is a path of waking up to the true nature of your own suffering. And it shows you the way out, the way to achieve a liberated, unfettered immortality. And if all but for in your meditation you achieve the state of no thought, and just for that 1/10 of a second, your mind ceases to agitate the manifested plurality of phenomena, and you cease suffering just for that 10th of a second, you suddenly see the truth. And within that, knowing the truth, you see the way out. It's for that 1 second you see the light at the end of the tunnel. That 10th of a second, you see the light at the end of the tunnel. And it gives you a direction. And I know a lot of Zen teachers and books talk a whole lot about enlightenment, about what it is and what it isn't. But what I'm telling you is that 1 millisecond, that 1/10 of a second where you see the way out, that's the enlightenment. That's it. And a lot of people work very, very hard to get to that one point. And there's a lot of means and methods to get to that one point. For some, it comes very quickly. For others, it takes time. I can't say. There's no knowing. It depends on one's state of mind, one's intentions, one's karma. But Zen works if you take it seriously. For the casual, for the insincere, for the weekender, it could come, but it may take some time. How long do you have to live? Because it may take longer than that. So with that said, I would like to thank you for listening to my talk, and again, please remember to like and subscribe. If you are appreciative of the videos that I have been producing, there's a link down in the description for a way to help out the channel and support. That would be greatly appreciative.